The story kicks off in a prison in the Philippines where there is a tall inmate named Eman. For 8 years, he had managed to keep out of trouble, and because of his good behavior, he was on track for early parole. Just one more month of maintaining this good behavior, and he would be free. Outside the confines of the prison, Eman's wife, Cheryl, was doing her best to keep their family together. She lived in a crowded apartment and had the sole responsibility of both working and raising their young daughter. It wasn't easy without Eman by her side. Adding to her challenges, there was Timoy, Eman's steadfast friend. Timoy frequently found himself tangled up with a group of local thugs who believed they ruled the area. And despite being imprisoned, Eman often came to Timoy's aid, maintaining their bond of friendship. The years without Eman had been exhausting for Cheryl. Each day felt like a challenge, with the weight of family responsibilities bearing down on her. The situation became even more stressful as the Philippines faced an outbreak of dengue fever. Everyone, including prisoners like Eman, had to undergo regular health checks to ensure the disease wasn't spreading. One fateful day, as Eman and Timoy made their way back to their cells, they were confronted by the familiar faces of the local thugs. This time, the thugs had brought reinforcements, thinking that with greater numbers they could intimidate Eman. However, Eman was undeterred. Displaying resilience and skill, he defended both himself and Timoy, easily fending off the thugs. But this action came at a cost. Eman was placed in isolation as a consequence of the altercation, jeopardizing his chance for early parole. In an apartment building, a man was knocking on his neighbor's door, trying to get back the money he was owed. But when the debtor finally opened the door, he suddenly lunged at the man in a violent attack. While in her flat, Cheryl was deep in sleep. She was jolted awake by the sound of her phone ringing. It was her best friend on the line, but all she could hear was some muffled, strange noise, which immediately made her anxious. Curious and concerned, Cheryl stepped out of her room to check things out. She was met with a disturbing scene. Her neighbors were acting bizarrely, some even attempting to harm her. And this wasn't just happening in the apartment building. Over at the prison, inmates and guards were exhibiting the same violent and erratic behavior. Eman and Timoy took advantage of the chaos, fighting their way out. They managed to escape the prison, but not without having to fend off and harm several people who seemed to have been affected by whatever was causing this strange behavior. The following day, Eman and Timoy made their way to Cheryl's apartment building. It was clear that many people had turned into what looked like zombies, but the two were able to navigate through the horde without being attacked. They soon figured out that these zombies would only attack if they heard a sound. So, Eman and Timoy tiptoed around, trying their best to be silent. But an accidental noise, an object falling, betrayed their presence. The zombies were alerted and began to chase after them. When they rushed upstairs, they found themselves surrounded again. But amidst the crowd of zombies, they spotted a child, hiding safely inside a drum, right in the middle of the danger. Realizing the zombies were drawn to noises, the child bravely came out of his hiding place to join Eman and Timoy. But their brief moment of relief was shattered when a nearby zombie made a loud sound, stirring the others into a frenzy. Once again, the trio found themselves being pursued. Upon reaching his wife's room, Eman's heart sank. The room was empty, with blood stains all over. The child they had rescued shared some news. During the chaos, he had seen Eman's daughter with neighbors on the 3rd floor. Holding on to hope, Eman believed his wife and daughter were still safe. He and Timoy made plans to head to the 3rd floor, hoping to rescue them before the zombies got there. In the meantime, Cheryl found herself alone, fending off zombies. She was desperate to find her daughter, who had vanished amidst the chaos. Little did she know, her daughter had found refuge with a neighboring couple. Initially, they mistook her for a zombie hiding in a closet, but they soon realized she was just scared. Their relief was short-lived, however, when an actual zombie emerged from the shadows. The couple acted swiftly, taking down the threat before it could harm them. Eman, clutching a knife, cautiously navigated past zombies lost in their daze. During the chaos, he got separated from Timoy and the rescued child. Timoy ended up following the child, who seemed to have recognized his mother, now a zombie. To prevent the child from getting too close and becoming infected, Timoy pulled him away, comforting him in his grief. Elsewhere, Eman found his wife, injured with a nail piercing her leg. He quickly moved her to safety and began tending to her wounds. As they were working on the injury, a couple with Eman's daughter in tow came rushing in, with zombies close behind. Just when things seemed bleak, the building's head of security came to their rescue, firing shots to keep the zombies at bay. Tamoy, despite his slender frame and lack of physical strength, decided to divert the zombies' attention. His intent was to give the child a chance to escape, knowing Amon would be better equipped to protect him from the looming threats. Eamon and Cheryl were cornered in their room, with zombies aggressively trying to break in. Just as things were getting desperate, the sound of Tamoy's voice drew the zombies away from them. In doing so, Tamoy ended up being overrun by the zombies and turned into one of them. His sacrifice gave Amon, the child, and the others a precious few moments to escape. They sought refuge in the stronghold of the building's head of security, who, as it turned out, was the father of the child Amon had saved. There, amidst the danger, a heartfelt reunion took place. The security chief was reunited with his son, and Amon and Cheryl embraced their daughter, from whom they had been separated during the initial chaos. Even with the city nearing its breaking point, Eamon, his wife, and their daughter managed to find moments of peace, sleeping quietly. However, the dwindling supplies made it clear that staying put was no longer an option. Venturing outside was risky, but they all agreed it was necessary. The group planned to use an underground route, believing it would be safer than the main roads. As night deepened, it became clear that the head of security's son wasn't well. A bite mark on his left thigh showed he'd been infected. Recognizing the danger he posed to the group, the head of security quietly tried to leave with his infected son, hoping to spare the others from any harm. But their exit wasn't as silent as they'd hoped. Cheryl woke up due to the noise, drawing the attention of the now aggressive child. Just as he lunged at her, Eamon acted quickly, taking a decisive shot to protect his family. The gunshot roused the dormant zombies and strained the relationship with the head of security, who felt betrayed after hosting them. With tension in the air, Eamon saw an opening and made a break for it, taking his family and the couple who had earlier saved a child from the zombies. However, shortly after, the couple chose to part ways with Eamon and his family. It wasn't long before they found themselves swarmed by zombies, mistaken for comrades. Determined to protect his wife and child at all costs, Eamon prepared to fend off the approaching horde, ready to tackle any zombie that threatened his loved ones. When they tried to flee, Cheryl encountered the head of security. He was out for revenge, blaming Eamon for his son's fate. At the same time, Eamon found himself battling wave after wave of zombies, unarmed. Despite his thick jacket and shirt, which should have protected him, he was surprisingly bitten on the waist, a shocking outcome since these zombies didn't even have fangs. In a twist, Eamon came face to face with his best friend from his prison days, now a zombie. With a heavy heart, Eamon ended his friend's suffering, giving him one last embrace, a gesture of unsaid love and farewell. Meanwhile, Cheryl was locked in a fight with the head of security. She managed to overcome him, but in the process, her daughter got cornered by zombies in a tight spot. Just in time, Eamon rushed to his daughter's side, making sure she wasn't alone and vulnerable. But as they were about to escape, they faced another attacker. At the exit, Eamon urged his wife and daughter to find safety and get help. He decided to stay back, realizing he'd been infected by the zombie virus. Nobody wanted to part ways, but staying together would bring danger. So they had to make the tough choice to separate. After his wife and child left the building, Eamon's condition worsened. He clung to a drawing made by his child, trying to hold onto his memories as he felt himself turning into a zombie. The moral of the story is always pack an extra thick jacket during a zombie apocalypse. It might just save you from a bite.